Good morning, students. Welcome to the IGCSE online sessions. This is Mr. Charles, and I'll be with you for the second lesson of week 6. Alchemy, Ancient and Modern. Please go to coursebook, page 171, and let's read together. Alchemy is an ancient form of chemistry that aimed to turn base metals such as lead and tin into gold, and even discover the secret of eternal youth. Many ideas about alchemy may have originated in the ancient Egyptian process of mummification and belief in the afterlife. From North Africa, the Moors introduced alchemy to Europe when they invaded Spain in the 8th century. In medieval Europe, many people believed base metals grew inside the earth and eventually turned to noble metals such as gold. Alchemy was simply a means of hastening that process. Alchemists based their theories on the belief that everything in the world was composed of the 4 elements: earth, air, fire, and water, plus salt, mercury, and sulfur. By the late 16th century, alchemists in Europe had separated into 2 groups: those who focused on chemical processes and those who continued the search for immortality. Let's read 3 texts that follow about alchemy. Text A: The Philosopher's Stone. First the note, the Philosopher's Stone to the right, an unknown substance sometimes called the tincture or the powder, sought by alchemists for its ability to transform base metals into gold and silver, and has an ingredient in the elixir of life, or as an ingredient in the elixir of life. According to the legend, the Philosopher's Stone was something people could see but did not recognize as having special powers. Try to focus on the content of the information as we read on texts A and B and C to recognize where can we or might have we seen such texts and such style of writing. How informative, and the language, how formal or informal is it? So, from the Middle Ages to the late 17th century, the so-called Philosopher's Stone was the most sought-after goal in the world of alchemy, the medieval ancestor of chemistry. According to legend, the Philosopher's Stone was a substance that could turn ordinary metals such as iron, tin, lead, zinc, nickel, or copper into precious metals like silver and gold. It also acted as an elixir of life, with the power to cure illness, renew the properties of youth, and even grant immortality to those who possessed it. The Philosopher's Stone may not have been a stone at all, but a powder or other type of substance. It was variously known as the tincture, the powder, or materia prima. In their quest to find it, alchemists examined countless substances in their laboratories, building a base of knowledge that would spawn the fields of chemistry, pharmacology, and metallurgy. Many of the Western world's most brilliant minds searched for the Philosopher's Stone over the centuries, including Roger Boyle, the father of modern chemistry, and even Sir Isaac Newton, whose secretive dabblings in alchemy are now well known. Long before Newton, however, there was Nicolas Flamel, a French bookseller and notary who lived in Paris during the 14th and the early 15th centuries. In 1382, Flamel claimed to have transformed lead into gold after decoding an ancient book on alchemy with the help of a Spanish scholar. Text B: Isaac Newton's recipe for Philosopher's Stone rediscovered. 17th century alchemy manuscript reveals ingredients it was thought could make people immortal. The Newton manuscript was a copy of a text from alchemist George Starkey. Text describes process to make Suffolk mercury for Philosopher's Stone. The Philosopher's Stone was thought to have ability to turn lead to gold. It was also thought that the stone could help humans achieve immortality. A handwritten manuscript from nearly 400 years ago has revealed a glimpse of the recipe for the mythical Philosopher's Stone. The 17th century document was penned by Isaac Newton and is a copy of another known alchemist's text. For decades in private collection, the text was purchased by the Chemical Heritage Foundation in the USA, which has revealed the early steps in the process alchemists thought could turn lead to gold. The Philosopher's Stone was a well sought after substance in Western alchemy. Between the Middle Ages and the end of the 17th century, alchemists thought this would allow them to turn lead, iron, copper, and other base metals to gold. They also believed it had implications for the human soul and could cure illnesses and even achieve immortality. As you see, text B contains the same pieces of information of text A, and even text B has introductions of 4 bullet points that basically sum up what the text is about. Keep that in mind for a minute. The final text, text C, hydrogen turned into metal in a stunning feat of alchemy. Scientists at Harvard University succeeded in creating a tiny amount of the rarest, possibly most valuable material on the planet, that is gold. You see how there's a summary at the beginning of the article? For nearly 100 years, scientists have dreamed of turning the lightest of all the elements, hydrogen, into a metal. Now, in a stunning act of modern-day alchemy, scientists at Harvard University have finally succeeded in creating a tiny amount of what is the rarest, possibly most valuable material on the planet. They reported in the journal Science. For metallic hydrogen could theoretically revolutionize technology, enabling the creation of super-fast computers, high-speed levitating trains, ultra-efficient vehicles, dramatically improving almost anything involving electricity. It could also allow humanity to explore outer space as never before. But the prospect of this bright future could be at risk if the scientists' next step to establish whether the metal is stable at normal pressures and temperatures fails to go as hoped. So the experiment failed. Text origin, writer's craft, page 173. Let's reread texts ABC on alchemy, thinking about the writer's style. Where do you think these texts come from? Here are some suggestions. So text A, B, and C. Were they separately, each of them, were they from encyclopedia, online history site or blog, tabloid, which means popular newspaper, serious, that is a broadsheet newspaper, a children's book, school science textbook, or an English textbook? What are your thoughts? For text A, it is an online or from an online history site. Why is that? First, it defines alchemy and cites famous alchemists in different periods of time. It is informative and assumes the reader has some prior knowledge on the topic. It does include some strong words, some technical vocabulary that assume you as a reader have previous knowledge of this alchemy topic. And here is its link from a website called History, and it defies the Philosopher's Stone. For text B, it is from a tabloid newspaper, from a popular newspaper. How come is that? It informs the reader on the 17th century manuscript, but in a way that is sensational, because it contains easy to understand language, as the words recipe, or ingredients, or cure illnesses. You may find this as amusing, as plays on the senses, as informative as well. That's why it is of a popular tabloid. And here is its link from the Daily Mail newspaper. It's an article that we have just read. For text C, it is from a serious news report. Why is that? Because it contains a news report on the discovery of the metallic hydrogen. It addresses more educated readers as of a very technical issue, and then the uses of this possible metallic hydrogen, and then how much they succeeded, and how scientists then at the end failed in this experiment. It thoroughly addresses this substance to establish whether the metal is stable at normal pressures or no. This is a direct quotation from a very technical, not at all for the common people. That's why it's a serious news report, and it's from the independent newspaper that used to be a tabloid, but now is a serious broadsheet newspaper. And here is its link. We're done for today. Thank you very much for listening. Stay safe and keep up the good work.